Imagine a training technique that you've never heard of, but it's so effective it's being used by Olympic gold medalists. Curious? I would be too. And that is occlusion training, an innovative method that's transforming the fitness world. So stay with me to find out what occlusion training is, how it works, the benefits and potential drawbacks of it, and how it can actually impact your training. So this technique's been gaining a lot of attention because of the impressive results it's been providing people. So what is occlusion training? It's basically where you use an elastic band or resistance band to wrap it around a joint of the muscle you're trying to work so it restricts the blood flow to that muscle. And just a quick disclaimer, I do not want you to go out immediately and try occlusion training because obviously it has its drawbacks and potential health risks too. So watch this video first before you give it a try. So occlusion training is said to increase strength and muscle growth with even lighter weights. I know a lot of you might be watching this thinking, no it doesn't, you need heavy weights. Just watch the video, I promise. So as more athletes and fitness enthusiasts adopt this training method, its benefits are becoming more clear. So let's explore what makes occlusion training so intriguing and if it's actually right for your fitness goals. So despite its popularity, occlusion training comes with its own challenges and controversies. And one major concern is its impact on blood flow and cardiovascular health. And plenty of research has been done to highlight the risks associated with occlusion training. So don't worry, there is science-backed information to the pros and cons of this training method. And I don't think it would be my type of video if there wasn't. For instance, a study published by NSCA's Performance Training Journal in 2009, it noted that while occlusion training can enhance muscle growth, it may pose risks related to blood flow restriction and vascular health. And the study emphasized the need for careful application and monitoring to avoid potential adverse effects. And another study published in 2020, so relatively recent, published in Journal of Sports Sciences, examined the safety of occlusion training, noted that while the technique is effective for muscle hypertrophy, it could potentially increase the risk of vascular complications if not used properly. This study suggested that individuals with pre-existing vascular conditions should be very cautious and consult healthcare professionals before starting occlusion training. Hence my disclaimer at the start of this video. So these studies suggest that while occlusion training can be beneficial, it's crucial to understand and mitigate the potential risks. Consulting with a healthcare professional and using proper techniques are essential steps to ensure safety and effectiveness of this technique. Right, so let's dive into the more in-depth sciences of occlusion training. So as I said, occlusion training involves using bands or wraps to restrict the blood flow to the muscles during your exercise. And this technique creates a unique environment that can enhance your muscle growth and strength, even when it's using lighter weights. So how does it work? So by partially restricting the blood flow, occlusion training increases metabolic stress in the muscle. This restriction reduces oxygen availability and leads to a buildup of metabolites like lactate. These conditions trigger physiological responses that promote muscle growth, often referred to as muscle hypertrophy. And the process is also associated with increased muscle fiber recruitment, leading to greater gains in strength and size. So what are the actual benefits to occlusion training? Because obviously there's risks associated with them, but like all things, do the benefits outweigh the potential risks? So research has shown that occlusion training can be remarkably effective for muscle growth. It's particularly beneficial for individuals who may need to use lighter weights due to injury or joint concerns. So for example, I've got some really dodgy shoulders. Occlusion training might be better for me when doing overhead presses because then I can use lighter weights. So this technique allows for significant muscle activation and growth while reducing the overall load on the joints and connective tissues. So there are several practices you need to follow in order for occlusion training to actually be effective and for you to actually be doing occlusion training, because you might not actually be doing it properly when you think you are. So let's go through everything you need to know on how to actually apply it to your training properly. So typically a band or wrap is placed around the upper arm or leg to create partial occlusion. And so the level of restriction should be enough to increase the intensity of the exercise, but to not completely cut off blood flow, because that's what makes you lose your limbs. But also, if you're training your forearms, for example, you can do a band or wrap around your elbow joint to get the intensity higher for your forearms. And same for your shoulders. You can put one around your armpit just above your shoulder so you get limited blood flow to your shoulder. And if you want to go a step further, you can do a band around just above your shoulder and at your elbow joint to only limit the blood flow to this point here. But again, please take this practice extremely carefully. And now for the duration and intensity of occlusion training. So you should start with shorter durations and with lighter levels of restriction to assess how your body responds to the occlusion training. And as you become gradually accustomed to the technique, you can start to increase the level of restriction and the intensity. So let's discuss some practical techniques on how to apply occlusion training safely and effectively. Because there's no use it being effective if it's not safe, because longevity is key in your fitness journey. So start gradually, begin with lower levels of restriction and see how your body reacts, and increase intensity slowly as you become more familiar with this technique. Number 2 is stay attuned to your body. You need to pay close attention to how you feel during and after your workouts. And if you experience any excessive discomfort, immediately discontinue the use, stop doing occlusion training, and you should seek a healthcare professional to see what they say. And leading on from that is seek professional advice. Consulting with a fitness expert or a physician, or even someone who knows a lot about occlusion training and has done it themselves, can make sure you do this practice a lot more safely and effectively. Now let's dive into some success stories and scientific evidence that highlight the power of occlusion training. One notable figure in the bodybuilding world who has embraced occlusion training is David Palumbo, a very renowned bodybuilder and fitness coach. Palumbo has been a very vocal advocate for this technique, crediting it for his impressive muscle gains and enhanced recovery. By incorporating occlusion training into his regimen, Palumbo has managed to achieve significant muscle development with lighter weights, demonstrating its effectiveness for even seasoned athletes. And research even supports these real-world success stories. Studies have shown that occlusion training can lead to substantial increases in muscle strength and size. For instance, research highlights that occlusion training stimulates muscle hypertrophy similarly to traditional high-load resistance training, making it an excellent alternative for those looking to build muscle while minimizing joint stress. Right, so let's summarize the key scientific findings. So for muscle growth, evidence indicates that occlusion training creates a high-stress environment for the muscles, promoting muscle hypertrophy even with lighter weights. And for reduced joint stress, this technique is particularly beneficial for individuals with joint issues or those recovering from injuries, offering a way to achieve muscle gains without the heavy lifting typically required. So Dave Palumbo's success with occlusion training and supporting research illustrates that this innovative method can be a game changer for achieving your fitness goals. Whether you're an experienced lifter or just starting out, occlusion training could be the way to unlock new levels of muscle growth and strength. Right, so let's summarize everything we've learned in this video about occlusion training. So in summary, occlusion training offers an innovative approach for muscle growth and strength development. By using bands or wraps to restrict blood flow, this technique creates a high-intensity environment that can lead to impressive results even with lighter weights. So the pros are, they're effective for muscle growth because research and success stories like those of Dave Palumbo showed that occlusion training can significantly enhance muscle size and strength and reduce joint stress. It provides a valuable alternative for those with joint issues or recovering from injuries, allowing for effective training without heavy lifting. So obviously there's some cons as well. So the potential risks are that there's concerns about the impact on blood flow and cardiovascular health. So it's essential to use this technique cautiously and consult with a healthcare professional to avoid any adverse effects. So overall, occlusion training can be a powerful addition to your fitness routine if used correctly. As with any training method, understanding both its benefits and risks is crucial to making informed decisions about your fitness journey. So what are your thoughts on occlusion training? Have you tried it? Are you thinking about giving it a shot? Share your experiences and opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my other videos about cutting-edge fitness techniques and subscribe for the latest videos. So don't forget to check out my other videos, which you can find in the top right corner of the screen. Take a click on that and it'll take you to a big playlist of all of my most popular videos. If you're new here and you're not subscribed, which a lot of you aren't, hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you get notified every time I post, which is Saturday at 5 PM British Standard Time. And if you like this particular video, make sure to hit the thumbs up to let me know you enjoyed it. If you didn't, let me know in the comments what I could do to improve. But that's all from me. As always, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.